Guys, have we got anyone here still, or have we bounced out? Hey, Fohammer, you're right. Oh, saving it was what killed it, mate. It ran out of RAM apparently. I can't see how. Flights to China. What are you going over there for, Ross? Let's get that music back on. Any Cubics 8th anniversary? Yeah, it's for mate. I don't know what happened then. Like, I think there was I think Streamlabs was part of the problem, because Streamlabs completely hung and then crashed out and went weird on me. Then Chrome died and just crapped out, and then Zbrush kept throwing up RAM errors at me and bombed out. But I mean, it's a 25 million poly model, and I can't see how it thinks there's not enough RAM to deal with it. So I think I'm putting it down to a technical glitch or an error or something like that, rather than actually not having enough RAM, because that sounds like nonsense. So you paying for the flights, Ross, or are any Cubic going to be fronting it for you? Okay, so let's start with posing on this guy then. So it's what they're doing, and they're having like a little birthday bash kind of thing. You get a tour of the workshop and all that kind of business. Right, so I need now to oh, nice. Take her out to China as a little treat. So we save it now. Yeah, no worries, bunker. Off to the shop you go, mate. Go do your chores. Right, I think I've got everything in the groups I need them in now. So let's try doing a group dynamesh. Oh, do you know what I just thought I might have done? What it might be. Oh no, I'm running Dynameshes around about the 1200 mark. Let's try it one more time. Dynamesh with groups on and see how it goes. Okay, yeah, that makes sense, Hayley. Do you know what I dread to think? Nothing wrong with that, we do it all the time. Do you know what though? I've been seeing loads of these British food things on like Instagram and like YouTube shorts, like, and like there seems to be a general consensus, probably I think more amongst the Americans than anybody else, but general consensus that that English food is terrible. Like they think like we don't do flavour and stuff like that. And I will say, like when I first met my wife, before she was my wife, obviously, like I introduced her to flavour. So like there was no. She used to cook like a spaghetti bolognese. She made me a spaghetti bolognese, but it was frozen mincemeat, and it wasn't brown, so it was flavourless. Morning H, hope you're doing well, dude. We've got multi-stream on, mate. So if you're in the chat and you want to, sorry, if you're still watching and you want to jump in the chat, just throw in the comments and I'll see you all on the screen and stuff, mate. So so yeah, so like no herbs. There was no seasoning, no salt or pepper or anything like that. There was like a tin of dolmio or something like that went into there, like pasta sauce, and onions and carrots, and that was it. I'm like, God, I've got to sort this out. So I kind of taught her how to cook, introduced her to things like prawns and things. She liked prawns, but she'd only really dealt with like frozen ones. So I started introducing her to all these like different things, and she's like opened her eyes to like flavour them, and she's never looked back. But her mom's so anti-flavour, like she won't eat peppers, ink with onions. There's just so many things like it's like, oh no, that makes me bad. Oh no, I don't like that. Oh, doesn't trust Indian food, so she won't like even entertain a curry. But she's fine with the Chinese food. She says she hates the smell of an Indian curry. It makes her retch. But a Chinese curry's fine, and I think a Chinese curry is more pungent and spicy in a lot of cases than an Indian curry. So like, none of it makes any sense. Oh, Japanese curry now, that's the thing, man. Oh no, this is the mother-in-law, mate. This isn't the wife. My wife's perfect with stuff like that. She'll eat everything with me. Yeah, if it wasn't, we'd have issues, man. The only thing I will say, I cooked her haggis, neeps, and tatties with a whiskey mushroom cream sauce. And she had like 2 mouthfuls, and then ended up running to the garden and puking. So she can't deal with haggis. So it's nice, man. If you like a black pudding, it's a very similar kind of flavour, but with more like oatiness about it. But do it with mashed potatoes. Yeah, oh, proper, mate, proper. Do it with mashed potato, some mashed up swede, which is your neeps, mashed swede, mashed potato, a big dollop of each, and then a whole load of. When I made the sauce, my favourite sauce to go with the haggis, by the way. So you get the stock, get some beef stock or whatever. You get some drambuie. You can use whiskey, but drambuie's got that kind of like spicy sweetness that goes really nice. Bit of drambuie, cook off a bit of the alcohol, add your beef stock, reduce that down, chuck in some mushrooms, so you get the mushroomy flavour in there as well. Fry the mushrooms first, by the way, don't add them in later on. And then you finish it with a glug of double cream. Oh, and mate, it is such a good accompaniment to... Oh, and loads of pepper, loads of black pepper. Really, really good accompaniment to haggis. Or steak if you want, actually. You a fan of carbonara, are you, Ross? Yeah, I like an arrabbiata, I do, the slightly spicier one. Hey, my wife's not even Muslim, and she doesn't drink alcohol either, so... I agree, it is boring. Trying to get her to have a drink with me at any point is like pulling teeth. I'll have a cup of tea instead. Is that alright, Grandma? Right, let's get the weapons on. Oh, yeah, Hayley's the same. Water or tea. Occasionally a coffee. But yeah, for the most part, boring. Boring, boring, boring. So I just thought I've just done stuff to this. I need to save this again, export it. guys, I'm just stuffing up my stuffing up my screens here, trying to do stuff. Yeah, don't drink the don't consume the merchandise. Maybe Indonesian tea is just absolutely awful, and she knows it. I don't know where to start with this. I'm going to put the gun in the hand and pose it in the hand, so it's... Can't say, have I got things sharing bloody polygroups again? I find it's really cumbersome. I don't know why. But normally I'll be turning loads of stuff off and making this a little bit easier, but I can't on this one. That's why I'm struggling a bit. Yeah, so basically once the hand grip's in place, what I'll do is I'll lock that hand in. I'll polygrip the whole hand together into one piece, and I'll attach it to the gun. So the gun will be combined with it, so it'll move together. But what I will do is I will clone that. So I'll save that one piece out. So that hand with that gun on will be a pistol grip for this guy. So then if I have to use that hand for the pistol as well, then what I'll do is I'll just take the gun away, switch the pistol out, and I've got the hand with the trigger grip. So try and economise and not have to do things too many times. And I think with these kind of guys, I think it's going to pay to have lots of different hands, because if he comes back in the future and says I want you to do variants or whatever, and he wants me to do you know, some of these guys with different weapons, whatever else, having to go back and repose hands every time is a ball ache. So yeah, being able to just kind of have a little library of them and just say, right, I'm going to just use that one this time, and you can always go back and modify the individual hands, but you can't really, you know, you can't account for every situation. Like for example, if you want somebody throwing a grenade, I'm going to have to like modify one of the weapons then. Oh, real random tangent here. Did you guys hear about the school trip to London that left a year 6 kid? They're going to be about 10 years old. The kid fell asleep in the bus on the way back from London, and they all decanted into decanted. You don't decant the children. They all disembarked the coach and went off to go and check into the hotel for the night or whatever, and they left the kids asleep on the coach. They didn't realise he was there. They left the child sleeping on the bloody coach. Hey Rosie. Well, it died. The whole thing's died on me once so far. Yes, this kid like fast asleep on a coach in a car park at the hotel. But you know, when you kind of think like I know my wife's like been a teacher for her whole life, kind of thing. And like I said to her about it, she's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe they did that." They have to like check the children in constantly. No, absolutely, definitely couldn't have been Bunker's fault this time, dude. I mean, he's not here at the moment. He's gone to the shop, so he can't even defend himself. So I could just throw him under the bus, but how are you doing today, anyway, Rosie? Right, there we go. We've got a gun with a pistol grip. The thing is, though, you count your kids, don't you? You count the kids. You have to, you know, if you're taking kids and you're responsible for them, you know you've got 30 kids or 60 kids or however many you've got. The first thing you do when you like get on a coach and you're about to leave somewhere or transfer from one location to another location is head count. You know, make sure all your kids are accounted for. Oh yeah, I'll totally blame the bad weather on him. I was sitting there thinking it's raining or something outside now, and I've realised it's my air purifiers running in the background. Good man, Rosie. Oof. Oh, nice. What are you painting? Make sure you share pics, mate. Okay, so this pistol actually needs to be holstered on his hip. So let's get it in place and then we'll get a holster made. Good show. Yeah, no worries, dude, no worries. I'll give you a shout like early afternoon when I've actually got to go and pick the kids up today. So what I might do is I might give you a call as I'm walking down to the school. So it'll be about 2:45, give or take. Have a good day anyway, Ross, and thanks for dropping in on the stream today, dude. Always appreciated, and always a pleasure. Love you, dude. Right. So rifle is done and welded to his hand. Let's hide the hand now. So when I'm posing this guy, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these pivot points. So I'm going to rotate that. I'm going to place this in the centre of that. Okay, and that becomes my rotational joint then. So for this first one, we're going to go. Yeah, no worries, Rosie. I'm only on till about 2ish today. Okay, mate. If you're about on your break, then definitely drop in, dude. I'll catch you later, mate. I just realised I don't even need that leg there. Hey Rose, how you doing, matey? This is a Goliath legionnaire as a commission for a client. So this is one of his own designs. So World War II steampunk kind of Warhammer 40,000 proxy. Tired, mate. You're just up again. Oh, nice. I've had that before, and I sleep on my side, and you're not used to it. I never sleep on my side, don't I? I always sleep on my back for the most part. And lately, I've been sleeping on my side, and what I found is I need to have a higher pillow to actually kind of like raise myself up. So I've got quite broad shoulders, and if I don't have a high enough pillow, then I end up with terrible neck ache from lying on my side. Oh no, it's all little shitty floaty islands here. Deal with them afterwards. Oops. the arm, shoulder pads off for a minute. Oh, you've been blamed for everything, mate. Bad weather, my stream crashing, don't know, dogs farting, anything and everything, I think, mate. Oh no, I only crashed it once, but... Rosie said it was definitely your fault though. No, it's been behaving ever since, mate, so just a one-off today, hopefully. Still don't know what caused it though, because I don't think I did anything untoward. The file wasn't very heavy and, you know, so intense that it should have caused a problem like that. But then that's the joy of Zbrush sometimes, isn't it? It keeps you on your toes, throwing you curveballs when you least expect it or want them. That's why we all love it. It's not, that's a lie. It's the thing we all swear about the most, isn't it, really? Let's merge. Do you know what, Bunker? I think you're right. You just cannot deal with your absolute sheer awesomeness. So can you please tone down the awesomeness so I can not have to ban you from the channel? If I can't work because the system keeps crashing because you're just too fan bloody tastic, I'll have no choice. Oh my god, what happened there? When did that skew out? Evidently far before I got as far as I am. I'm hoping I might get away with not having to pose this hand too much. Split mast. I'm getting myself a bit confused here. Hey Dennis, how we doing? I don't know how I somehow managed to delete this piece. You on rules today, Dennis, or are you doing a bit of sculpting or printing, or what's your plans? Oh, nice. I think it was a temperature dip. It got a bit chilly last night, so would temperature dropping, would that have affected your printer? Not sure if that affects FDM in the same way as resin or not, but. So FDM is one of those things I've not ventured into, so I don't know anything about it. It's one of the reasons I haven't dabbled in it actually, is because not knowing anything about it. It's the whole process of having to like dedicate time to getting my head around stuff and learning about it when I don't have that kind of time spare. At some point I'd like to. Especially as I'm seeing the FDM stuff getting better. I've seen some really smooth prints off FDM, and actually if we can get, I think if I can get down to like 0.3 micron layer height and have some nice smooth prints, I think I would be absolutely up for it. And I've seen similar kind of results on some of like the stuff that Ross has done. Some of the printers he's reviewed, so I think we're getting close to that if we're not already there. But yeah, like as a sculptor who's like, you know, I'm focusing on details and stuff, like having the models annihilated by layer lines is something that bugs me. So even when I make terrain, I'm making terrain with the intention that it's going to be done in resin. Speaking of, actually, you want to check out the Futsal website, because the stuff I've done for them on the Baron's War, they're running it all off in resin for customers, and they've restocked a load of stuff, so there's loads of product on there now. So if you're in need of any wargaming terrain, you want it in resin and high quality prints and stuff, give them a check. Oh, also, guys, you notice the next ChillCon's been announced now. They've started advertising it on the Facebook page and whatnot. Need to get my stall booked in and make sure we're there to attend. Don't know if it's the new venue this time. I know we're talking about changing it up. Sorry, Riz, what we're saying there, mate? If you change the nozzle to a smaller one and use a lower layer height, you can get respectable models, but nowhere near those. Yeah, I think that's where it's. I think that's where it comes down to, isn't it? It's about reducing the layer height and kind of increasing your print time and stuff. But it's the hey Ross. Yeah, the school hall is getting small. I thought you'd gone, mate. They're moving it into a like a much larger venue in Sheffield, like a proper events place, rather than just using a school. Oh, fair enough. Thanks for lurking, dude. Just getting pissed off with the finger posing on this. I don't think his arm's going to reach there, you know. We'll have to do something drastic here. See if we can figure that one out. It's always the challenge with trying to get the arms done when you're trying to pose something with a two-handed weapon. It's particularly with a rifle where things have got particular grip spots. Grip spots, handles even. You end up having to kind of try to make things work. Yeah, no worries, Dennis, mate. You do what you need to do, dude. And so we're always about on the Discord anyway, so if you need to have a chin wag and a chat, get some hobby on, then we're always here, mate. Take it easy and we'll catch you later. Good luck with the print. So Ross, what's your verdict on FDM prints, sorry, at the moment? Have we got to a point where they're getting on par with resin, or is it still a bit of a way off? Not just no. Fuck no. Too far out, are they? So I've seen you do some really nice resin prints, and I was not resin prints, sorry, FDM prints on it does get me wondering sometimes if we're going to find, you know, the ability to do that kind of like what do we call it, like the point. Squish stuff going on here. Let's sort that out in a minute. Yeah, that's it. And this is the thing, you know, when you're doing terrain, especially, this is what bothers me with terrain, is when you do terrain, that tends to be when you're going to, even if you don't dry brush normally, like for me, I don't tend to dry brush my models. Although I have been giving it a go since I've been watching some of Byron's videos on the Artist Opus channel. But you don't tend to do a lot of... Sorry, you do tend to do a lot more dry brushing on terrain, and then it opens up all those problems, doesn't it? Opens up all the sorry, doesn't open up anything. I'm just chatting bollocks now. It suddenly highlights all of these imperfections, doesn't it? All the little layer lines and all the striations and stuff that you don't want to be showing off. They suddenly become very, very obvious because you've dry brushed it. There's like ink washes and dry brushing, that's how you do terrain, isn't it, usually? But so it's your favourite FGM because it's easy to use, but not because it produces the best results, or... Oh, this is annoying the piss out of me now. That is going to have to do it, unfortunately. Okay. Do you know what? I started the stream having just finished bacon and egg sandwich, so I'm actually all right. I'm not hungry at all, so good to keep going for a bit. I might pause for another cup of coffee in a bit, but I'm lagging. But other than that, oh, bacon baguette, sexy beast. But everyone else, Riz, Ross, AD, what you guys all having? Protein shake. You're hitting this gym thing hard, aren't you? Blending on that later. I'll be honest, Riz, hearing the phrase protein shake makes me want to go and raid my cupboard for biscuits. A tropical energy drink with green coffee and it's plant-based. I'd expect nothing less. I mean, coffee's a bean. But it always made me laugh when I bought I can't remember what the brand is now, but I bought some cider from Aldi. It's one of their like fruity ciders, and it says like, you know, vegan friendly on it, and I'm like, well, considering cider's made of bloody apples and fruit, I would, you know, really hope that it would be. But do you need to say it? Did you see the chef who banned vegans from his restaurant? Chicken salad, more chicken. And shakes. Oh, you arsehole. I've stretched his backpack. Arse. Yeah, there was a thing recently where there's a chef who basically, I think he got bombed by vegans complaining that there weren't enough vegan options on his menu, and obviously he's like, you know, it's his livelihood, his restaurant and stuff, and they start like, he goes from like, you know, being a well-known celebrity chef to getting loads of like 1-star ratings on his Trustpilot and TripAdvisor and stuff. And it was a load of vegans who hadn't even been to his restaurant who were kind of, you know, fighting for the cause or whatever. So he basically took the step of saying, you know, vegans aren't welcome, we're banning you. And then they're complaining that they've been banned from the restaurant. It's like you were complaining about the restaurant and now you're complaining that you've been banned from it. So, you know, if you don't like it, just don't go there. You've got to try and destroy somebody's livelihood. Obviously, not all vegans are activists, as we know with our pal Rich. Oh, do you know what? It probably would. But do you know what I find? I think a lot of people who are in these, like, I'm going to call them minority groups, but they're not minority groups. They don't seem to be happy. Like, people who are always campaigning and shouting about stuff, it's like, you know, does anything in life make you happy? Other than just moaning and shouting and... Oh, and also the latest thing I've seen as well. So, recent study has basically shown that if you include they/them pronouns on a CV or resume, if you want to call it that, you're something like 80% less likely to get a job. Because employers will assume there's a reasonable chance that you're going to cause them problems. So if you are a they them and you do identify that way, don't put it on your CV is the lesson there. And obviously there will be exceptions to that rule, because you will have, like, you know, woke companies who will love that and they'll sing from the rooftops and it will get you in there. for the majority of companies, it's going to hurt you more than anything else. So be mindful. Some companies are. Some companies are. What do you call it? Living it, aren't they? Like Disney, for example. I mean, Disney have started employing men as princesses, from what I saw recently. How does that work? That was the guy with the beard and long hair handing out, like wearing like the princess dress, like greeting kids coming into a ride or something like that. Personally, I don't get it. Okay, so let's have another one of these pouches. Let's pop it round the back somewhere. I'm also going to put a pouch over here. I'm going to plonk it behind his. What have I just done? I'm going to plonk it behind the handle of the knife. Should do it. Let's go get this bugger's backpack back. It's a mouthful, isn't it? Hey Mike, how we doing, matey? Thank you for joining the stream. Do you know what? Let me give Mr. Disney a little bit of a shout out here. I can't spell. There we go. Are you streaming today then, Mike? It's Riz. Akkad Painters, Craft. I know Craft World and Sergio. I don't know Akkad. Any others similar? Yeah. So you got Angel Giraldes. You've got Ben Comets. Have a look at Ben Comets. He's amazing. We've got Mr. Mike Disney in the chat right now. He's a fantastic painter. Definitely check his stuff out. Then we've got who else? There's Flame On Miniatures. There's come on guys, we're all in the same thing. Same groups here. You must know all the painters. Get some spammed into the chat. Let's get some names in. Who's the Spanish guy I watch all the time and I can't remember his name now? Jose Da Vinci. He's bloody amazing. Bohun, yes. Thank you, Mike. Dalian Art and Genuine Vision. Never heard of either, but I'll check them out. Bunker. Ping links in the Discord chat, actually, mate. If you got them. So yeah, there's a lot of really good ones. Do you know? Normally I spot them all on my Instagram. So let me just have a little gander and see who's on there. I'll tell you some names. There are Blue Frog. Not come across them either. Let's have a little look. Yeah, you're looking for more of like the painterly type ones where there's like the strokes in the you'll probably want to have a look at Banshee then, I think, as well. I think Banshee might be a good fit for what you're after. Mike, sorry, did you say you were streaming today, or you were... You're having a day off and chilling? Awesome, there you go, Riz. You can jump on Mike's stream as well and have a little mooch and a nosy at his work. Christ, I'm sick of this already. I think he's probably using a bit of oil washes, to be honest, but there's he did the whole fuck smoothness like thing where he was everybody was focusing on trying to get smooth blends and he was just kind of going, you know, I'm not interested, I'll just here we go guys, here's a little bit of Jose Da Vinci going now. Bit of hand brushing, bit of air brushing, and then some nice like glazing. Andy Wardle. Mamicon Paints, there's another one for you. Have you seen Roman Lapats? Roman's paintings are awesome. Just too many, isn't there? Flame On I find to be a little bit of a an anomaly for me, because like that's one of his pieces and it looks amazing, but he gets these really kind of like vivid colours going on, and I never seem to be able to kind of even just get that level of colour to come through in mine. Can't see this anymore. I mean, there's just so many amazing painters online. I think it's just a case of obviously not. Good morning, Adam on Facebook. How are you doing? Yeah, this is a commission piece, mate. This is yeah, Flamon's crazy. You need to have a look at his actual processes. I think he's done quite a few tutorials that are going to be quite useful for you. But yeah, this is a commission piece, mate. So this is not for me at all. This is for a chap called Joe, and he wants he's basically doing like a 40k Space Marine kind of proxies, but they are World War II steampunk themed. Let me just copy that. Basically, I've been posing him, but I've stuffed up his backpack. I've managed to skew all the details and stuff, so I just need to do a bit of an adjustment now. Let's just dynamesh that backpack so it stays as it should do. Yeah, it's nuts, isn't it, Riz? Oh yeah. So this particular one, I remember him doing that. All of this like fine detail on the backpack, on the cloak, where he's actually painted like the stitching in. There was I want to say it was like Marnius Calgar as well. There was like a Space Marine commander that he did. And it might have been Calgar, it could have been somebody else, but that one again, he did all the stitching in the backpack and stuff, and it was just crazy, absolutely bloody crazy, but incredible. So I say well worth a follow if that kind of work impresses you. What you got there, Bunker? Dylan art. Yeah, there you go, check that out. It's got loads of freehand on older models, they're very, very nice. And then Riz, what's your thing out? Oh yeah, Craftworld, that one. Very nice. No worries. So Adam, what you been up to then? Keeping busy? Doing anything nice hobby wise? Any interesting projects on? Get the gun. Cheers, Mike. I'll be sure to let Joe know, because I think he's got a few people who've seen this who are definitely going to want to be buying them. I don't even know if he's planning on selling them, to be honest. As far as I know, it could just be a hobby project, but I have told him he should be definitely getting them sold. Well, that's a bit funky, isn't it? I'll accept that now. Oh, nice, nice. Anything you can share, or is it all hush hush, top secret? Just save this so I don't screw it up. Which program is it, Mike? "45-minute sculpt." What could you do in 45 minutes? How's about how about a mimic? There you go, do a mimic. Some innocuous object, like a money bag or something like that. That's literally about to bite your face off, because it's actually a monster in disguise. Oh, I've just had a terrifying thought. Condom mimics. I'm just going to leave you with that one. Let you think about that. Stew on that one. Why don't you try the old? Why don't you try coin purse mimic then? Nice and easy, nothing too challenging. You get to focus in on like teeth and tongues and dribble and saliva and just gribbliness, which obviously can never be a bad thing, can it? Well, if you're on the receiving end of it, it's going to be a bad thing, but that's something to sculpt to keep you occupied. I think it should do the job. Sorry, Mike. What was the program you were talking about, mate? What was the program you wanted to work on? Oh, Zbrush. Well, Mike, if you ever want me to walk you through anything and give you a little bit of a one-to-one, I'm always happy to, dude. I'll very happily show you what's what. Give you a bit of an orientation and set you to task. It's only Wednesday, mate. Only Wednesday. Like, yeah, the pens can be really sensitive. Have you tried messing with your settings to see if you can dial it down? I mean, it could also just be update your drivers as well, because I've had a few issues with mine. I mean, my Wacom tablets died on me like literally this week, or last week. I've had it for years, and it's finally kicked the bucket and given up on me. Like literally, I can't keep it powered on for, because it's a tablet computer. My one is. It's the Cintiq Companion, or Companion 2 at least. And every time I turn it on, it stays on for like a couple of minutes, and then it dies, just powers off, and I turn it back on again. It seems to be overheating, so I think it's probably just the processor's dead on it, or dying. So sadly there's cack all I can do. Yeah, low model count, Adam, is the way forward, definitely. The one I'm working on with Max, the Crystal Collapse game, I'll be pushing some of the sculpts out for that shortly. And that one is, again, we've gone low model count on that, so we've got 4 models aside. We've got the option to double that and go up to 8, but we're keeping it at 4 models aside to start with. And it helps to keep the detail. Helps to keep the game flowing nice and quick as well. So you don't have to paint loads, but you also don't have to, you know, run around like trying to run after a 4, 5, 6 hour long game for a couple of turns. And I think there's a big appeal for a lot of people in that kind of quick turnaround. Especially like for me, I don't have that much time to do things anyway. So, like I say, if it's a massive time commitment, I'm always going to struggle. Oh, you haven't got it too close to the thing, have you, Mike? It's not your it's not the distance, is it? Yeah, the only downside obviously is if you're running it as a business, it means people are buying less product, so you need to be pricing a little bit more premium to make sure you can kind of afford to run it, if you like. But it's not a deal breaker. Right, I think I can lock this one in. This is number 1 done. I'm sure Joe's going to be happy. I'm impressed with it myself, if I'm honest. So let's just merge all that together. Okay, let's duplicate this then. So I'm going to just going to do a little bit of pulling here because there's a couple of areas where I think it's going to cause a bit of drama. I'm just going to move the mesh over here just a touch, just to close that little gap up. I'll fill that with the brush. That one I think will be okay. Better. It's more central, I think. Yeah, definitely better. So what do you reckon, guys? Who wants to paint this one? No, you're probably right, about 2 millimeters. About 2 millimeters wide. I mean, unless you go for like a sack, if it's like a money sack, you go maybe 10 mil. It's like got some weird like artifacting going on here on the surface. It almost looks like wood grain. Smooth it all out. It's one of them things you get when you've got two surfaces that are too close to each other. And then you dynamesh them and they come together, and then that happens. Change dynamesh distance. Where's that saying, mate? That's it. Is this sub projection or? Preferences, geometry. What, the dynamesh close holes? Cheers, Riz. Oh yeah, I do everything in Zbrush. I never step outside of it. It's the whole thing is a Zbrush process for me. I think 4 must be default because I've never changed that setting. Right, so I'm going to dynamesh the whole model now. Take groups off, leave the resolution as it is. Missed something here. Where are they, little rings? Okay, now we go to the pre-export process. So what I want to do is I want to make sure I'm inflating into little areas like this. Close those gaps, because that is, I mean, this is going to be a tiny, tiny, tiny little gap. And what we don't want is all of the resin to get into that little nook. So down here behind the arm as well. And what you can do is when you want to check it, cut halfway in like this and go behind. So see here, like here I can see there's a connected part here, and then behind it we've got all this unconnected stuff, so I'm just going to fill that bit. Just going to inflate that until it's not a problem anymore, and we can't see it anyway, so it's not a drama. And then we'll go under here. I think it's probably going to need filling, so we can't paint it. We can't get in there to paint, so this area here we're going to fill. just crudely inflating it, I'm not doing anything special. Obviously the back of the shoulder blade we can see underneath here, so I'm going to leave that open. So you could flip that upside down and get your brush in there and probably paint that, but this section around here you're not going to be able to. So again, rather than leaving it as an area that you're not going to be able to paint, let's put a filler in there. Now you could put a sphere in there. If it's a large area like this, this is how I would normally fill it. If it's a small one, you can just kind of fill it with the inflate brush. But if you're doing a larger space, it works. It's supposed to just dot a sphere in and just use that as a cavity filler. Just be careful before you dynamesh it that it hasn't like protruded through the other side or anything. Go. Good afternoon, Rosie. How are you doing? Thank you for the prompt. Yeah, it was actually. Hadn't saved in a while, so very much required. Okay, so here I'm going to get in with that now. So I'm going to use the smoothing brush. Sorry, not smoothing. Dynamic topology. Then we can see over the top of the arm here there's quite a big gap, so I'm going to drop a sphere in there in a minute and we'll fill the hole. So this is another one of these steps, if you're not familiar with miniatures, that you might just omit. But obviously it's going to cause issues if you do. Well, here I've got a little bit of a problem because I've got this bit of mesh that I've accidentally bumped. But again, rather than just mashing it about and going back and trying to import it more, I'm just going to sculpt it out here. There you go, that's my hard surface technique. What's up, Riz? Zbrush died on you? Oh, mate. Can you not undelete the folder? Too late to grab it back from the recycle bin? Oh, in Zbrush, like a Zbrush folder. Oops. And it's deleted all the objects in there. That sounds like a time to check through your quick saves and restore an older file, I think. And that's what I'll be doing about now. Oh, last night I came down to the office to do some a little bit of work, and I took some prints off the printer, and some of the ones I test printed was Lulu the Holophant, the little elephant I did the other day, and also the gibbering bandits I made the other day. So I take them off the printer, and I'm like, yeah, I'll check them out, see how they're looking. And there was a couple of areas where they needed a few extra supports, and wouldn't you know it, I go to change the supports for the gibbering bandits. I haven't even saved the file, so I had to redo the entire lot from scratch. Oh, Riz, no quick saves. I mean, I hate quick saves sometimes, but they're a blessing and a curse, aren't they? Right, little areas like down here I'm just going to fill. Just help close some of these gaps, because even if the gaps aren't too bad, you are going to need to end up having to put supports in there. So if you can close it, close it. You don't want little slivers where resin can go in, or where it's got to go in, or where you've got to try and clean it out of, rather. You don't want those bits, and you certainly don't want any like undercuts and hollowings. Let's unhide all of this stuff. Let's just redo the dimesh. There you go, Bonker, drop dead Fred. I do love a bit of drop dead Fred. I think Jacob would love it, but I don't want him walking around calling people the mega bitch. So I might have to just pass on it for a little bit. Or doing the whole cobwebs thing. Or even for that matter, making up an imaginary friend and trying to get away with stuff by blaming them for stuff. He is. Or was. That's it, everything from like Bottom to the Young Ones and Blackadder and everything else. Like, it was just ace, weren't it? So what do you reckon? Best Rick Mail role? Lord Flashheart? Richie from Bottom? Rick in the Young Ones? Drop Dead Fred? Cobwebs. Oh, and don't forget the dog poo on the sofa. I think it's just one of those very funny films. Yeah, the Young Ones was good. I always preferred Vivian in the Young Ones though. Oh, I don't know if you've ever seen him or not, but you know Ade Edmondson, who played Vivian in the Young Ones and Eddie in Bottom. We saw him at there's a show that they do at the NEC called Rock with Laughter. And they have a combination of like musicians and comedians come out. And Ade Edmondson was scheduled the one year when he went up, and I thought he was going to come out as a comedian, except he didn't. He came out as a musician. And he's got this band called the Bad Shepherds, and they turn up playing like proper like folk instruments, and it's basically punk folk or folk punk. So they're singing like you know, Sex Pistol songs and like all these kind of like, you know, proper like punk music, like 70s type punk music, but they're doing it using like banjos and ukuleles and things. It's quite a bagpipes as well, I think, if I remember right. And I thought, oh my god, what the hell is this? And then actually I quite liked it by the time I'd listened to it a bit more. So it'd be worth check it out on YouTube, The Bad Shepherds. What's orange and bad for your teeth? My instinct to say iron brew, but I think there's a punchline coming in now. Prick. Very good, Ailey. Very good. It's brown and sticky. stick. We spent ages trying to find like clean jokes for the kids. They love it. They love a joke, but like half of them you can't tell them. Oh, do you know? I saw a thing with Neil Buchanan. He's like virtually unrecognisable now, isn't he? Like from the Art Attack days. I sent it to our like family group, and I went, "Guess who this is?" And like nobody got it. Nobody could like, identify that it was him. Go for it, mate. Bring him along. I was talking to Hayley. I want to look into the possibility. I'm not saying I'm going to do it yet, but I'd like to look into the possibility of running a war game show in Birmingham, because the only one we've got down here is UK Games Expo, and it's massive. And I think we could do with like another, like basically like a Chilcon Birmingham kind of thing. So. Hayley's been running all these, like, organising all these like PTA events and stuff like that, like summer fairs and things. So I've set her to task to go and have a little look and research about venue hire and other stuff to see if it's a possibility and how much work's involved. Well, we live. I live in Solihull, which is just outside of Birmingham. But even like Birmingham as a big city, it's got like good transport links and things like that. So you kind of have to look at where people can get to. So obviously, if you're going to do like a wargaming show, you kind of need to make sure you've got. Hey, Kurtwig, how you doing? Oh, brilliant! Cheers, Bunker. Yeah, Bunker's in here as well today. How are you doing, Kurtwig? We're just chatting nonsense at the moment. I'm just doing this model as a commission for somebody. So we're just doing the posing at the moment. We've got about another 4 of them to do. So yeah, just chatting nonsense and sculpting while I'm doing it. So yeah, so we're looking at different venues, accessibility to venues, the things like we were saying, like obviously Chilcon using the school is quite a smart option because schools have bus routes usually. Oh bloody hell, Silly Oak. I actually used to live in Longbridge, well Rubery, so just down the road by the old Rover factory. That's where I grew up. That was where I went to school. Fucking hell, small world. Was Mr. Thomas and Mr. Thomas still there as an art teacher when you were? Well, he packed his bags. He left by then. How old are you, Riz? Isn't it probably not a million miles behind me then? I mean, you might have been there at the same time as my brother Ben. well. You won't remember Ben Kelly, would you? Yeah, because I went to St James Primary, which was like it was a Catholic school just around the corner on Leach Green Lane. I went there as a kid, and then we moved in. I went down to Colmers afterwards, so I only did the secondary, and I did Cadbury sixth form, as many of us did. To do with chocolate making, unfortunately. What did you move away, did you, for college? Still with his knee. What, used to go to Cadbury's, like Cadbury World or the Cadbury Factory? Go and get all the seconds and stuff like that that were cheap as chips in the Cadbury shop. Remember those days when the kids from Waisley's used to come round for like turf war fights at the entrance to the car park? Bloody ridiculous. I don't even know where that rivalry came from. All nervous times, Kurtwig. Good luck. You thought she was a bloke moaning to somebody about the increase of women painters on the net, moaning about over sexualisation of female forming minis. Hang on, are you in favour of that then, Kurtwig, or against it? Oh, that's always good, isn't it? Oh, fair play. Well, fingers crossed, here's hoping to get the manager's role. That's it. In favour of female models with impressive assets. There's a few female painters I used to follow. I've ended up unfollowing some of them. Not because they're female and they're worse or anything like that. It's like literally like, you know, the ones who started doing OnlyFans at the same time, and like you go from being presented with here's my models to here's a picture of me with my models. Now all I'm talking about is my OnlyFans. So. No, thank you, not for me. And you just know they think they've got the market cornered because they've got all the nerds on side. Right, there we go. I think he is sorted. Well, it would certainly distract male shooters. It might buy you a bit of time. Which would be better than getting shot at all, isn't it, really? Where did I... Oh, I put them over there. So I'm just trying to send Joe a picture of the first one done. I think the next one will be a bit faster because I've already got some of the stuff made, like the arms and the hands and the things that I've posed up for this particular model that I can recycle. And you know it's a decent tactic. No, GW do a pretty decent job of it. They do seem to like high-heeled stiletto boots with armour, which, strictly speaking, isn't practical, but I understand why they do it. Obviously, when you're looking at miniatures on a tabletop, you want to look at something from like 2-3 foot away. You really do kind of need to have some visual cues. So little waist, big boobs, you know, wider hips, round bums, high heels, any of those kind of things are genuinely a good cue from Oh yeah, that's it. They're generally a good cue from a bit of a distance that you're looking at a female model rather than a male model. So there are certain things that do help in that point of view, from that point of view. So, right, do I do any more on this, or no? Right, so he's done. I'm going to save this. What I do need to do next is I need to load up my skeletons file. I'm going to get a bit more of these done in the evenings, I think, get them finished off now. Let me load up my skellies. Oh, the nanolith boss was a catastrophic failure. It's going to have to definitely be done without a base. There's no bloody way that model is printing with the base on. I physically can't get the strength for supports in there. So, yeah, yesterday's sculpt was not a success, shall we say. Oh yeah, I put it on the printer and it just there was whole layers missing out of it. The arse fell off the body of the thing. The first blade with the big knife thing on it didn't work, so I hadn't put enough supports on the tip of the blade. And it seems tiny. It seemed absolutely minute. So I just need to double check the scale. Which reminds me, actually, let me just message Max and ask him if. So yeah, it was a catastrophe. It was one of the worst prints I've honestly done in as long as I can remember. Okay, so we've got a unit of 5 dwarf skellies. I've ended up with the dwarf being like 6 million polys. That's just nuts. No, completely the opposite, Kurtwig. It's so basically, if you hollow the model, you'll make a little bit of a saving in resin. But when you're talking about like a smaller model, it's not even worthwhile. In fact, even a large model. So I did the sums on it the other day. So let me just show you. I'll get the camera on. I'll show you this unit thing. So this model here, Ifrit, 120 millimeters tall. So just got a model for scale. There's one of my human models standing next to him. Yep, so obviously he's massive. So this guy, using resin that cost me £45 a litre, this guy costs me in the region of about £5 in raw material. And this guy cost me about 15 pence. So that guy for £4 is solid. There's no hollowings in him. I haven't got to worry about having like little drain holes or anything else. He's completely solid, and it doesn't even pay to try and do it. I mean, Bunker's trying to print like a, I don't know, 4-foot gnome or something like that. So like when you start trying to go massive, then you probably want to try and start doing some savings. But it really doesn't even, unless you go in like, you know, a foot tall or any bigger than that. Unless you're literally doing giants, it doesn't. In fact, even giants, I wouldn't be doing in. I wouldn't be doing them either. So yeah, I just literally. I just literally print everything solid now, because the problem is when you hollow things as well, what happens is you have the interior of the model has to be completely cleaned out of any wet resin. It has to be completely dried, and it needs to be fully cured. So when you expose it to UV light in the curing process afterwards, the interior of the model won't cure because the light won't permeate through the like opaque resin. So you need to get a UV light inside the model, and that's really difficult to do, like in a kind of an all-round fashion. You can put the model in water. This is one for you as well, Bunker. Submerge the model in a tub of water, like a Tupperware tub. Fill it with water and then cure it. And the water, by all accounts, refracts some of the light around, and it helps to cure like the inside of the model. It gives you a more even cure. So that could be something that can help you. But yeah, in essence, the middle of the model, the interior of the model, if it's not cured properly, what will happen is the model will eventually like hemorrhage open. So you end up with like huge, great big gashes through the middle of the model where it's kind of. In fact, let's see if we can find a photo. So here we go. So this is what happens if you don't. You see these big splits. You see how the inside is all gooey on it still. So this is a model where it's been hollowed, but it hasn't been drained off. So this has been cured. This is probably, yeah, there you go. After sitting for a few months, they've cracked and exploded and leaked. So it's basically because they've not been cured internally. This white crust, we had a chat about this, didn't we, Bunker? This white crust is because you haven't let it dry properly and then you've cured it. But yeah, that's a typical example of what will happen if you don't clean the inside of the models and cure the inside properly. They just tear open. So little things like that, right through some massive, great big, that kind of thing. It doesn't have to necessarily leak resin. It doesn't have to be full of resin for it to happen. But that kind of split is typical of what you'll see. But yeah, people hollow like 32mm miniatures trying to save like a penny or two, and it's not even worth it. It honestly isn't. It's like, how hard up do you need to be to hollow a 32mm model? Pre-process. Let's pre-process all these visible ones. You're welcome, Kurtwig. Let's get these ones ready to go. Well, I'm always happy to answer the questions, whether it's out of curiosity or because you're trying to learn or whatever else. Not one to shy away from a question. Are you pondering getting into 3D printing at all, or? Yeah, you just need to trim down the weight of the thing a bit, don't you? So you can. Yeah, but if you are printing big gnomes and stuff, Bonker, I would totally do them hollow. But you've just got to kind of consider it. You've got to make sure you put enough vent holes and enough things. And like when you do your vent hole on the bottom, you got like if the underside of the model is able to have a massive, great big opening in it, then I would do that because that's going to let you get the inside flushed out and cleaned properly, but also get the light in there to get it cured. The smaller you make the holes, the more you're starting to look at specialised equipment. So you're going to need like a UV. In fact, let me just have a little look and see if there is actually. Oh, has anyone been on Amazon today and gone on the Prime sales, the Prime Day sales? So you're probably wanting something like this, a dental UV curing lamp, because you've got little torches, but they're not going to get inside the model. They're going to get you to like the outside bit, give you a bit of manoeuvrability. Yeah, you're faced with that whole thing where it's either a ton of extra supports, or hollowing it out. But when you're hollowing it, you've got to bear in mind you've got to account for suction as well. So when you run, in fact, you know what? Let's. Trying to find. There's got to be a way of doing it. I mean, I've seen people making things where they literally get a little LED on the end of a wire, a little UV LED on the end of a wire, and they jam it inside the model. But you've obviously still got to allow for like one of these LEDs to be able to go inside the model. So yeah, you're always going to be struggling trying to do internal curing on miniatures. Especially if, like, say, you don't allow yourself enough room to be able to kind of get inside it. I'm trying to pick my words carefully here so you can't turn it into something filthy, Bunker. Right, so what I was going to show you. Minor tools. pretty sure I exported them. Yes, I did. Yeah, the problem again, Bunker, is like the number of factors that can make your prints fail is massive. And when you're testing them, you have to make sure that you what you don't want to do is go, I'm going to change this, and this, and then you end up with a model that you end up with a print that has got, you know, it comes out and it works, but you don't know which thing fixed it. So from a fault finding point of view, you want to do like one fix at a time, try it and see what's going to work, and just whittle it down. Okay, so these will work now, so they're fine. So if I get this model here, Bunker, and I pop them onto Hollow, we've got this down here, suction cup detector. So if I search the suction cups, so click on hollowing, go to suction cup detector. It's probably not big enough to do actually, but suction cup detector normally will trying to see if it actually is. Yeah, it's not thick enough to actually have hollowed anything. That's why you've got no suction cups in it. Okay, so hollowing's not going to work on this one. Oh, here's the rain. Okay, yeah, right, so hollow I can't hollow it because it's not thick enough, so. But yeah, do that, run the suction detector, it will mark up any areas where it thinks it's going to like cause extra pull on the model. And anytime you get that, what you need to do, Bunker, is just put a vent hole through the outside skin. It will mean you'll need to do a bit of filling after it's finished, after it's printed, but it will print. Jesus Christ. It's like I'm picking the kids up in the car if this carries on. Okay, so let's raise all of the guys up off the floor. About 5 mil. I'm going to rotate them all round to about there. phone's just flashed up saying showers now. Tabletop things do I play? Well, I don't get an awful lot of time for gaming, but I do play a little bit of the Baron's War. So if you're not familiar with it, it's a Dark Ages game by Footsore Miniatures, Warhost. Well, Warhost care of Footsore Miniatures, if you like. I've got Mortal Gods, but I've never really played that one yet. We've got Frostgrave, Kings of War. I used to be a big Warhammer player, back in like fantasy days. I used to play 40k, but I'm sick of that if I'm honest. 40k bores me to tears now, like literally seeing it online all the time as well. Like everybody on Instagram and whatever else, they're painting miniatures, they're painting bloody Space Marines. It's like, how many times can you see the same thing over and over again? Give us something a bit different. For God's sake. Okay, right, so supports on, we're going to do an island detector. Yeah, see, I'd like to get into doing a bit more D&D stuff. Most of the models I make are for D&D. Cheers, Bunker. Most of the models I make are D&D models, and I've been making them for the Descent into Avernus campaign. I've been doing that for a couple of years now, and the plan was I was going to run that campaign for like some friends and family, but I haven't got around to doing it yet. So I'm still making the models for the campaign. So I've got a ton of D&D minis now. Siegfried and Woo. Yeah, I like him. He was actually one of the first models I did. The Tieflings, which ones? The Warlock one. Has it been for? I think it's been more than 45 minutes, mate. Oh shit! Look at that. Oh, that's not nice. I'm going to try reorientating this guy. Yeah, no, it's Kurt. I'm going to be knocking off in a little bit anyway, because I've got to go and pick the nippers up from school. But thank you for joining. Don't forget to give us a follow and come and join again. You're always welcome. It's been a pleasure having you on the stream. Oh. I'm just trying to adjust and hurting myself. I'm freaking old. Yep, you too. You take it easy and enjoy your meeting. marginally better. A little bit. Okay, usual score. Cluster of supports on the lowest points. Oh, when you're doing weapons, by the way, I don't always do this myself. It's not advice I actually do follow, but it's quite good practice to sometimes not take the blades to a point. I normally do. So I'm not... This is like a do as I say, not do as I do bit. If you leave a little flat spot on the edge, it still kind of actually looks like a blade. But by having the actual edge of the blade slightly flattened, you can actually get an edge highlight on there a little bit better when you're painting. And it also means that when you come to support the edge of a model, you can get all of the supports in properly. So you can use the edge for the flat edge to put your support tips on, and when you take them off and clean it, it's all good. Oh, I think the rain stopped hopefully. So again, I'm just trying to tree off all of these supports. Because this is a larger model, I'm going to be putting a few more supports in areas like this where it's a low point. So basically this area here as an island is going to be low bearing for like the rest of the model pretty much. Everything going up from there. So we want a decent little bit of support there for it. I might switch these up to some light supports in a minute. I'll see how it looks after I've done all the heavies, mediums. The light supports are only a tiny bit smaller, so I don't need to, it's fine. I'll just stick with my good old mediums. So the red bit means it's too close, it's a proximity alert. So if you get any red supports, it basically means that it's going to be touching the model, or it's almost touching the model, and if it's almost touching the model, then there's a chance that if your exposure's off a little bit, it might actually mix in. Mimic Gold Sack's not finished. How did it go? I think I said before, you do get these little these little supports, but for me, I always prefer not to use them because it's easier to clean up if their supports are larger. Like the little supports will break away at the base, so you'll still end up having to physically do some clean up on the model. But if you can keep the supports like this, larger format, you can just pull them away and they'll just break off easier. Use that one there, we'll get this rib onto this one too. I've got no choice for that one, it's got to be a mini support. Let's check it out. Riz, that's still your that's still a picture. Oh, as I said, that was a picture of the craft world paint job. Oh, nice. Yeah, you get the eyes, the teeth, the big tongue, the coins. Things like that, mate. You want to stash them to one side and actually just release them as little little files. What's up now? Oh yeah, better with some contrast. Yep. You ain't lost it again, have you? There was a I can't remember if it was a Kickstarter or if it was just a monthly release from somebody, but somebody did like a whole load of like domestic objects as mimics. It might be something you might want to try actually. Do a bunch of like little mimics, do their unmimicked equivalents, so just like for this one, just the bag of cash, the bag of gold, and then do the mimic version of them. Let people have a little selection of stuff that they can use. Yeah, yeah. Be a nice little project that would. Doesn't even have to be a big one. Do you know what I mean? Little collection of like 20 objects or something like that. Sell it as a Kickstarter. I think that'd do well actually. Don't like doing that. Try and trim them together at least. got a missing island on him somewhere because he hasn't gone. Oh no, there's a few there, that's it. There's a little sneaky hidden one there. That's it, that's the last one. Done. I will put a couple more here though, I think. Doing for time, yep, still plenty of time. I don't actually know. I just hold Alt when I do the things. Basically, when I'm doing the supports, hold Alt, click the first part, and then click on where you want to place it. But for the next one, hold Alt and Shift. It uses the same base point and just drops them in. It's just about finding where's best to put them. So the main thing when you're placing them, I want to be able to grab this whole tree and just pull it off to one side. And doing it that way round means that you're not going to be like trapping anything in the model. Oh shit, what happened there? What you can have happen sometimes is when you use auto supports, you'll get the support will start down here, for example. It'll go up and then it'll pass through here, through the inside of the legs, out the other side of the leg here, and connect to the hand here. And then when you try and lift the model off, you've got this support is basically going over the top of the leg underneath the arm, so it kind of it interweaves with the models, and you end up having to break the supports off or clip them off to be able to kind of pull the model out. So you want to try and avoid those kind of situations wherever you can. So putting supports in areas where you've got one direction of removal. And again, on larger models, use the yellow areas as a cue to place a few more supports. So here, as an example. The yellow bits basically mean it's an overhang. And if it's an overhang, what you can end up with is a bit of wobble or a complete fail. Try that as it is first. We'll see how it goes. Being skeletons as well, you don't want to overdo the supports, because if you put too much on there, it's going to give you even harder time trying to remove them without breaking the model. Sometimes you can get away with a bit of breakage on a skeleton though, because it obviously looks like they're just old and decrepit and have broken apart, but it depends on the nature of the break. Save this. Okay, right. Right, I need to get this well, I've saved it. I'm going to have to stop this now and get logged off so I can get ready to go and pick the kids up. Sounds like it stopped raining outside, so thankfully that's a good thing. Tomorrow I'm going to be doing some play testing with Max in the morning and then a bit of sculpting for Crystal Collapse in the afternoon. I may be on streaming in the afternoon, so we'll have to keep our eyes peeled on that one. And Friday I'm going to be offline, so I may be back with a bit of a stream of an evening on the weekend, maybe. We'll see. If I do, it'll be an ad hoc one, but I'll be back on Monday otherwise. So possibly tomorrow, definitely Monday. Let me just double check and see who's on. So we've got Mike Mons, we've got Red Straw Baby. Let's go see Red Straw Baby. Let's go and pop in on her and see how she's getting on. Guys, thank you all again for joining me today. It's been an absolute pleasure again. Thank you for the company, thank you for the chat, it's all been fun. And have a good couple of days. Say hi to Red Straw Baby and give her a follow. And I'll see you guys tomorrow at some point, hopefully. Right, cheers all. Later, taters. Bye bye.
I got coffee and a drink.